Yo, so let's do a Q&A. So I thought I would do a Q&A. It's been a long time since I've did a Q&A, and I see a lot of questions popping up, and I thought let's just do a Q&A. Let's just sit down and answer some questions that I see in the comments quite often and just yeah, just make a video like this today. So let's start off with one of the first questions that I see in the comments quite often, and this is Jermaine, are you done with the sharing economy? No, I am not done with the sharing economy. This year, I guess I've been really lagging on the sharing economy quite a bit because this year I've been traveling a ton. I've been going from country to country to country, and I've been going back and forth to the U.S. as well. When I return back to the U.S. on the next trip, I will focus a little bit more on sharing economy gigs. I'm gonna probably do a couple of different challenges that will they'll push me to be out and do more deliveries and stuff like that, and that means I will make more sharing economy content. But for the most part, I feel that a lot of the sharing economy gigs, like someone like me has already went over them, or other YouTubers have already went over certain gigs. So I feel that it's not as relevant to talk about as it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago when the space was very, very new and a lot of people were not familiar with pretty much any of these apps. Nowadays, there's a couple different apps that people are very familiar with, and there may be other apps that people aren't familiar with, but there's tons of YouTube videos out there for people to figure out information on. And I kind of feel like now the sharing economy is getting really watered down with the whole YouTube space. And I don't know. You guys know my favorite platforms. It's TaskRabbit. It's Caviar. I really, really like Uber Eats a lot. I guess I would have to say Uber Eats is up there too because I just really like how simple and how sometimes streamlined Uber Eats is. And Caviar, it definitely has its advantage. How you can see the drop-off locations and stuff like that. And of course, TaskRabbit. I mean, TaskRabbit pays bank, so that's one reason why I really, really like TaskRabbit. TaskRabbit's a really, really awesome app to work for. You guys should check out TaskRabbit. Yes, once I return back to the U.S., I will make more sharing economy videos and stuff like that. So yeah, stay tuned. But as of now, I'm not really making any sharing economy videos because I'm in a foreign country. But maybe I can order food from some app here in London and make a video. But that wouldn't really be sharing economy related. That would just be me ordering food and making a video. And yeah, next. So another question that I see on Instagram, in DMs, Jermaine, do you get lonely? And also, how do you afford to travel like this? How do you afford to constantly move around? I'm gonna answer both of those questions. I'll answer the first one. Do I get lonely? And believe it or not, I feel lonelier in San Francisco than I do when I'm outside of the US. Just because when I'm outside of the US, if I'm in a particular place and if I'm not there for very long, I won't really get lonely because like I'm just excited and there's always something new to see. Now, if I'm in a particular place for a long time, it's easier to get lonelier, but I really haven't ran into that problem. I usually get really lonely in San Francisco just because I don't know. It's just sometimes it could just be a cold, lonely place, and it can just be just a fast moving place, and that's one place I feel very lonely. And also, how do I afford to travel? Now, guys, I'm gonna answer this differently. I've answered this question before, but I'm just gonna answer this question just a little bit differently this time. Now, put it like this: people usually have a couple things that's holding them back from traveling. Usually, that's a job. Outside of a job, it's something like a car payment or you have like a house payment. A lot of people who live in New York City or San Francisco, they would love to travel for a month or 3 months, but they just can't give up their apartment because if they give up their apartment, if they move back to the city, they're going to be paying a whole lot more in rent. So it's very like it can be difficult for people to move around just because of the whole rent situation. So I pretty much just moved because of the sun, but pretty much people have a couple things that are holding them back. It's usually a house payment, a car payment, typically a job, or it could be a relationship. For most people, it's not just one of these things. It's like three or four of these things, or all of these things. And having all of these things can make it difficult to travel if you're not, loaded, if you don't make like a lot of money. With me, I luckily have none of these things. So it's very easy for me to travel. It's very, very easy for me to travel. Now just think if you had a car to pay for, a car payment, and you have to pay for a parking spot and stuff like that. It's going to be more if you're traveling for 2 months, because now you have to pay for, your car payment for 2 months and you're not even using it. Me, I don't have a car. So it's super easy for me to just leave for a little bit. And another thing that a lot of people may not realize, that I live in San Francisco, and San Francisco is very expensive. Ever since I left San Francisco, I went to New York. New York was much cheaper, okay? And what I mean by much cheaper, I'm talking about Airbnbs are cheaper. Okay, San Francisco, I'll be paying like $60 a night for an Airbnb. Okay, so New York, I can find the Airbnb I was staying at in Staten Island. It was around, I think, $32 a night. Now, that's almost half price of San Francisco. Okay, just right there. That's almost half price. And food in New York is much cheaper. And also, transportation, I really didn't pay for transportation at all. I took the subway maybe 3 times out of the whole trip, and that was it. Now, back in San Francisco, usually I stay in Oakland because Oakland is typically cheaper than staying in the city. And staying in Oakland, you have to commute to San Francisco, and that means you have to pay for the train each and every time, and that adds up. In New York, I stayed in Staten Island, took the free ferry, rode my electric skateboard, didn't have to pay for anything. So New York was much, much cheaper than SF. And that's one thing I've noticed. And also, whenever I leave the country, I'm typically going to a place that's a lot cheaper than the U.S. and a lot cheaper than a place like San Francisco, which is the most expensive city in the U.S. Like even London right now, as of the making of this video, I'm in London. I'm sitting in this Royal Park, okay? Really nice place. And even the hostel that I'm staying at is much cheaper. If you look at a hostel in San Francisco, you won't find anything under like $60 a night for a freaking dorm. $60 a night. In Bali, you can find hostels for, $4 a night. In New York, they're much more expensive. They're around maybe $60, $70 a night. They're much more pricier in New York for some odd reason. But most other places, they're much, much, much cheaper. And if you have been following me online, typically I go to places that are much cheaper, like Northern Ireland, Belfast. Oh my gosh. It was so much cheaper than San Francisco. Like I was just spending a whole lot less money every day. Like every meal is a whole lot less than $10. I can get a meal for like $5, for $6. Like it's so much cheaper. Like taking trains, like taking buses, like everything is so much cheaper. And that's one reason how I'm able to travel. I'm typically going to places cheaper. Now, another question I see every now and then, Jermaine, what's up with you and a girlfriend? Well, as of now, I'm into dating, but I'm just traveling around and I'm just like I'm just doing this thing, so it's kind of hard to really meet someone. And a lot of times when I do meet people, it's usually like they like sort of, I don't know, they sometimes people feel like they can't like keep up, like. And I'm not like exactly looking for someone who is, ready to go backpack and travel around the world. I'm just looking for someone chill to hang out with, and I just usually don't really like, I don't know, like I like there's like a couple people I like, but uh I don't know. Put it like this. Another question you guys may want to know is, what about the whole boosted board and the whole boosted group? What happened with that? Interesting. Guess I am back in the groups. I'm able to join the boosted groups again. I have to rejoin the groups. So I exactly haven't rejoined the groups yet. I will rejoin the groups, but I just haven't did it yet, just because I'm just backpacking now, and I don't really want to see boosted stuff because it's gonna make me want to skateboard. And honestly, I can't wait to get back to the U.S. and skateboard. Like it's gonna be a whole lot of fun. But I won't be back to the U.S. for some time. I'm definitely gonna go hit up a couple more countries because I'm still on the whole travel to 100 country deal, and it's very interesting. And I just want to continue making videos and telling people all about my journey and telling people how they can do the same thing too. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got going on. Another question I see, Jermaine, why won't you just live outside of the U.S.? Why do you go back and forth to the U.S.? Now, that's actually a really good question. Why don't I just like stay outside the U.S. and just travel outside the U.S. instead of go back and forth? Because this year I've just went back and forth to the U.S. multiple times. There's a couple of reasons why I like to go back and forth. Number one, I'm finding like really, really cheap flights to go back and forth to the U.S. For example, the flight from Boston to London was $99. So I mean, at that price, it's not that much to like go back and forth. Now I did find a flight going back from another country back to California, and that flight was like 200 and I think $85, which is more expensive than what I normally pay. But this is also the middle of summer. If this was off peak season, it would probably be about $160 to get all the way from Europe back to the west coast of California. And when I find flights like that, I really don't mind going back. And another thing, I really like the U.S. Like, I really like my country. I love to travel outside the country. But then at the same time, I really like going home. I really like um, doing other things when I go home, like doing other like partnership videos and working with other apps and stuff like that, and trying out different skateboards and going to different cities and going to different skateboard events and going to VidCon. And I just really like to go, like, to travel back and forth. That's why I'm not traveling for 6 months straight and going to, X amount of countries within 6 months and then go back to the US. I don't want to do that because I feel like if I travel for a long period of time, I will get, like, sort of, I want to say sort of like bored. I'm not talking about like bored, like I'm bored, but I'll get sort of like, I want to go back home. So that's kind of why I don't do long periods of travel. Another question, Jermaine, when are you going to settle down? When are you going to stop traveling? And when you do, where will you settle down? Where will you live? Now, this is a really good question. This is a really good question because if a lot of you guys have just started to follow me, if you just started to subscribe to me, how I got on this path, I'm going to actually explain to you guys how I got on this path, because this is something I've always wanted to do, but it was something that I never really had the balls to do, and things just happen, okay? So I was living in San Francisco. Well, I'll just go back a little bit farther. No, so I was living in San Francisco, okay? I had this apartment. I was paying like $2,000 a month. I had a brand new car. I had a car payment, insurance. I had a lot of bills. And I met this girl. We started dating for a while. And we ended up moving in together because she was renting out like these different rooms in the house. She was thinking about moving out of the house, and we were thinking about getting a place together. And then at the last minute, she said, just move into, this place. And I was paying a whole lot less in rent. And, we just had this like really nice house, and we had really cool roommates. And, my life was like really different, And then after we broke up, she moved out for a couple months, and then I ended up moving out. And when I moved out, I didn't exactly want to just go find another apartment and, be paying top dollar and stuff like that. So I was just living out of Airbnbs for a while. And I want to say, for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, I was living out of Airbnbs in San Francisco. And then it just dawned on me, hey, I don't necessarily have to stay here. I can just move around. Like, I can just move around and travel. I can go to New York and I can create content there, and I can, travel. I can go leave the country for a month and then travel back and stay in an Airbnb and then, leave again. And that's when I figured out I could do this and I can live this life. And I'm getting all these weeds all over me right now. And once I figured out I can live this life, I mean, come on, it's really hard to go back. And I've been thinking about that myself. When am I going to settle down, and where am I going to move to? Because this is a really good question. Do I want to live in expensive San Francisco, where I really like it, where it's very expensive to own anything? or do I want to, buy a place in my hometown, put down a nice down payment, get like a 5-year mortgage or something, or just save up enough money and just pay for the place in cash. Like, I mean, you can get a decent house for like $100,000 in Memphis. So, Memphis is where I'm from, by the way. So I was thinking about just doing that, and then I'm thinking, well, do I really want to live in Memphis after I've, lived in pretty much majority of some of the nicest places that the U.S. has to offer, and I've definitely spent a lot of time outside the country, and I've seen so many awesome places. Do I really want to go back and live in my hometown where I have to have a car to get around? And so I'm just on the fence. Like, I don't exactly know where I want to go. Do I want to live in New York? Do I want to battle the cold winters? Do I want to enjoy and chill out and skateboard in the summertime there? I don't know. I don't know. That's a really good question. I'll probably just go back to San Francisco just because that's the place that I came from, and I really, really like San Francisco a lot. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't like about San Francisco, but I'm just one of those. I'm just one of those. I'm just the type of person that I just want to keep going back because hopefully things change and things change for the good. San Francisco has a new mayor, and hopefully things can get better. I don't know if things are gonna get better, but I just don't want to run away from a place that I really, really like just because it has a lot of problems. So yeah, I will definitely go back, and I'll probably spend some time in Santa Barbara too because I really miss Santa Barbara. So anyway, I just wanted to make a Q&A video answering a handful of random questions, and I thought that, yeah, I thought I would just make another video for y'all. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace out.